And yesterday when I did that, just like something exploded. So, yeah, something I totally hadn't expected because of the nature of Angkor. I don't know, I hadn't expected to have such a powerful experience, but it was just like bliss, just, and yeah, really, really beautiful, really amazing. And yeah, just thinking about this, it's made me realize that sometimes we travel the world to try to find ourselves, and given the right tools, we can just sit still in one place and the whole world just comes and finds us and pours into us and fills us with something just so incredible that we could never manufacture by ourselves, but just with the right preparation and the right openness, it just comes in, and it's just so beautiful. Hi, how are you all doing? I wanted to connect with you to see what your experience of the week has been and to share some of the experiences that I've had this week. So if you remember, this time last weekend I was preparing for Walk the Talk, which is the huge global online event that the World Health Organization organised just before the World Health Assembly as a health promotion event. And I was really delighted to be part of this for the third consecutive year. And this year, as it was an online event, we were able to touch far, far more people than ever before. So the section from Geneva lasted around 5 hours, and it was broadcast on different social media platforms. And just on Facebook alone, there have been more than 18 million views. So just imagine that, being part of an event where 18 million people connected to see how they can do something for their own health. And I was really, really happy to be able to bring yoga into that conversation. So that was very exciting and very rewarding. Now, in the middle of the week, I saw some situations that were not quite so positive. Started to make me understand how people are really finding it difficult to keep restraining themselves, to stay conscious of their actions and to do what's best, not just for themselves, but for society. Because now people are starting to think, well, what the hell about me? I don't care, because I can't stay cooped up like this anymore. People are really reaching the limit of what they can cope with. So I've seen a number of people that I know who are actually, their work is connected with health, wellness, with conscious thinking, with spiritual process, with all of these things where we would expect these people to have the best judgment. And they've been organising parties and gatherings, and they've been hugging each other in their photographs. They're in big groups and not maintaining social distance, and just throwing caution to the wind. And the thing is that now their behaviour doesn't just affect them, it affects us as well, because every time that we need to interact with them, their action impacts our health. So it unsettled me to see that. That was kind of on the gathering side of it. I had an interaction with a good friend of mine who normally is very balanced, very calm and stable, and really concerned about other people and trying to do his best for other people. And so the situation was, he'd got locked out of his flat and I had to go and let him in. So I travelled, the furthest I've travelled in about 2.5 months, to go and see him, to let him in. So I let him into his flat. We're in the kitchen. He offers me a drink, and then he starts showing me his stockpiles of food. There are certain foods that he knows are good for your health and that can improve your immune system and things like this. And he just stockpiled. I mean, he stockpiled for like a year, because he was worried that the supply chain will be disturbed and he won't be able to get the things that he needs. And what if he can't get the things that he needs? What's he going to do? How is he going to survive? And so because other people have been panic buying, he did the same thing. Because other people have been hoarding, he did the same thing. And couldn't see that he's been working on himself so much to prepare for this kind of situation where he should be able to be conscious of his actions and to decide, okay, let's say I get sick and I have to stay at home for 2 weeks. I'll make sure I have enough of all the different foods. I'll make sure I have balanced food that I can maintain myself at home for 2 weeks. And I said to him, if you're really worried about there being a lack of something, okay, you buy enough for 1 month. Then you've got everything you could possibly need. And then you stop. And you allow other people to buy what they need as well. He just hadn't stopped. And then as he was explaining how worried he was about the situation, he was getting so agitated that when he was talking, he was actually spitting at me. And, well, that's when I really had to tell him, look, you need to stop. You need to really get a grip. Consider what you're doing, because this is not just impolite. This is not just rude. This is actually dangerous now. You're in this situation where it's traveling through water droplets and you're actually spitting and you don't even know it. That's really a cause for concern. So these are some of the kind of things that I've seen people doing that show that people are really reaching their limit. And then I noticed within myself that these things were having an impact on me. So having been exposed to a number of these different situations and having a good friend who's not doing well herself and having to see how to advise her, and so being ultra aware of how other people's actions impact our health, especially, with concern for her. This made me feel like, I'm not very happy with this situation, and I'm not feeling as in control and as balanced as I need to be. So then it was great because I have tools to address this. So when I realized this, I was able to look within myself and to notice, because that's one thing that yoga really gives us, is the insight to see how we're doing, what's happening within ourselves, not just the outside actions, but just simply how it feels to be inside us. So when I started to notice that my balance is now a little bit shaky, then I was able to rectify it. I was able to just add in some of the extra practices, to do more chanting, more pranayam, balancing practices, and to just do the things that I knew would settle me. And it just worked phenomenally well. So it's not, it's not a case that you reach this stage where nothing's ever going to faze you again, but you reach a point where if something phases you, you think, what tool do I need? Okay, so I'm feeling like this, so I need this tool. I'm feeling like that, I need that tool. And you just take the tool and use it. It's like if you were a caretaker of a building and you see, okay, this chair is starting to get a bit wobbly. What do I need? I need to tighten the screw. So I take the screwdriver, I tighten it. This thing, that the door's squeaking, there's too much friction. I take some oil, I oil it, reduce the friction. So it's like yoga can be like this, that you start to understand the impact of different practices and you take what you need. I mean, we have the practices that we maintain as a daily practice, but when you realize, I need more of this, you can just do it, and you don't need anybody else to feed it to you or to point it out to you. You look within yourself, you realize, this needs rectifying. What can I do? Okay, I do this. And then you look within yourself again. Okay, did this work? If it worked, perfect. Next time I have that situation, I know to do that. If it didn't work, okay, let me try one of the other tools and see what works. And so, you just experiment on yourself and see what works. It's not something that you need to believe as a dogma. It's a science. So science works by experimentation. You see what works. If it works, can you replicate it next time you have the same problem? And so it's fantastic like that. So yeah, that was the middle of the week. And then the last thing I want to share with you is last night, because last night was something I can't keep to myself. So I did Angamardana. Now, for those of you who don't know Angamardana, it's one of the most dynamic, challenging practices. It's fast and furious. It's kind of, yeah, it's very much a physical workout that works on the energy system as well. But on the spectrum of going from the very physical to the very subtle, it's much more on the physical side of it. So after Angamardana, we would just sit quietly for a few minutes. And yesterday when I did that, it's just like something exploded. So yeah, something I totally hadn't expected because of the nature of Angamardana. I hadn't expected to have such a powerful experience, but it was just like bliss, and yeah, really, really beautiful, really amazing. And yeah, just thinking about this, it's made me realize that sometimes we travel the world to try to find ourselves, and given the right tools, we can just sit still in one place and the whole world just comes and finds us and pours into us and fills us with something just so incredible that we could never manufacture by ourselves, but just with the right preparation and the right openness, it just comes in, and it's just so beautiful. So that happened yesterday, and so I've been trying today not to let it go. I want to maintain this state, but without just simply sitting with my eyes closed for the whole day. So I'm trying to maintain it and also take action and make decisions and be active and see how can I maintain that and still be using all of my faculties and using my body and interact with people, but still keep this feeling just completely alive and like really filling me up. So this is my experience that I'm going through at the moment, and my new experiment, how to keep this feeling of complete bliss happening at the same time as doing these mundane activities. So it's a very interesting process at the moment. So there we are. Wanted to share that with you. Thank you for listening to the stories, and please share your experiences. I'd love to know what's happening with you, whether you've had a breakthrough or not even a massive breakthrough, but maybe some greater sense of consciousness, of awareness of what you're doing, or realizing that you needed to maybe get, like me, more balance, and you did something and it worked. Whatever your story is, I'd really love to hear from you. So please, respond, interact with me, send me messages, send me comments, and I can share your experiences with other people as well. So have a great end of the weekend, and look forward to connecting with you again soon.